Good evening. It is Matt Rogers. It is now the 5th of January 2025, and a big warm welcome to all of you that is watching this channel very carefully, because indeed as well, I'm going to show you tonight on this broadcast some very interesting space captures. Now, what we did was we went out towards Lincolnshire, and at the viewpoint of Lincolnshire, the highest peak point of Lincolnshire town in the UK, the United Kingdom, pointing towards the stars. Now, folks, it was guaranteed to be a very clear night, and indeed it was, so we could see a lot of things, and also a lot of things moving across the star systems. Now, I'm going to show you these pictures because, again, it's very, very important, because other people have the right to know that there is indeed some kind of interstellar objects up there. The first photograph was taken east through deep space. Now, again, by taking the image as well, using a computer towards a telescope, picking up and achieving differences with pictures. Now, when you try to enhance the photographs, like I've explained before, they just smudge out. So, to this point of view was the closest, clearest capture that we could pick up. Notice this curvature of this formation. There's a other formation just below it, but what are these dark lines? I mean, this is deep space, folks, a huge object. Now, when I say deep space, I mean that this particular formation does indeed look like a starship, an interstellar starship. Who are running these things? Who is in charge of these huge astronomical objects? Let me just zoom in to show you as well the apparent picture. Now, indeed, the light refraction from the moon, where we can see this line. Now, I've got a few more captures of this object as well that I will show you, because indeed, again, it's moving fast. I mean, I don't know how fast it's moving through space, but it is faster than any object known to mankind here on Earth. I was just blown away. We were both blown away with the capture when we picked up the images, my daughter and I. But something showing an incredible object. There was some kind of phenomena that was showing just to the above and to this side as well of the formation. Okay, this is the second capture of the formation that we saw. So you can see a difference to this side of other objects moving closer to it. It all happened very so quickly, but indeed by taking the captures from the video evidence, there is some kind of formation to this side. There we saw the characteristics of this huge space object or interstellar. Let me just zoom into that formation to show you. They weren't there, but again you can see the characteristics of something else. I'm going to show you the other photograph of this huge space body. Folks, again, it always brings you back to John Leonard Wolson that picked up those interstellar starships. And indeed, something is going on. Something is up there on a clear night at the skies above Lincolnshire, out there in space. Now, can you see these formations that were very close to the object? There were three of them. On the first photograph, you could see this formation just below on the photograph. And there's another kind of phenomena as well that shows up. This was very interesting. There was some kind of activity going up there in space. This was the other photograph, so you can just start to see the characteristics of this strange hue or strange mist through where we see the huge object and these other orbs that are moving very close to this other object. Are they connecting? And indeed, when you look at it very closely as well, they do look like cubes, cube formations. Now we're seeing these of the phenomena of cubes very close in front of the sun on different people's footage, and spoke about these cubes. What are they doing now? Very close to this object. You can still see the characteristics of this dark line to this huge curvature of something, of a space object. Let me just zoom out for you as well to see this phenomena. Very, very interesting real pictures, folks. And here you have as well these cubes. This one seems to be much lower now, moving away from the space object. And this one seems to be very close as well. But when I look at this as well, it looks as if that some kind of dark entity or something else is spewing out of this side of the object, moving the cubes away from it. What do you think, folks? What do you think that's going on here on this space capture? Indeed, these squares or cubes or some kind of orbs. This one's definitely moving away. You can start to see this. I don't know what it is, folks, but again, you can see this apparent dust or some kind of liquid or something coming out of the end of this other object, penetrating away to push these objects away. I mean, what's going on? And all of a sudden the cubes disappear, but still we see this entity or some kind of dust or black cloud formation coming out of this craft. You can see clearly, can't you, that the cloud formation shows up. Or are the cubes still there? Because when you look closely at the photograph, you can still see the pattern, the outline pattern of the cubes. Folks, again, is there a war going on up there through different alien technology or something that is happening? A war, folks. Let's take a look at this one by zooming in. Now, I took this one of the very same object as well. Look how it's become. You can now see the apparent lines of formations. Still noticing this haze or this dark shadow, space dust or something else that came out the back of this object. Look at the lines, the patterns, and the formation of the shape of this formation. Again, it does look interstellar, of a huge starship. Notice that line as well, and this area. I mean, what is this, folks? What is this doing in space? It doesn't look like anything to do with Earth, any man-built object, or is it? Think about it. I mean, again, there's very strange times that we're all in now for this year alone, 2025. And here we are again, folks. I mean, we're talking about billions upon billions of miles away, kilometers away from the Earth of a space object, and we're picking up some kind of formation, some kind of apparent situation happening in space. Okay, for about 20 or 30 minutes later, my daughter approached me and said, "Dad, please just look at the computer again as you're pointing towards the formation, the entity, the strange phenomena out there in space, capturing the object once more, picking up this strange shape. I mean, it's moving into different shapes, and it does look indeed interstellar. But look to this side where we see this strange apparition behind the object still, where we saw those cubes, those glowing orbs, cubes, moving across space and heading towards very closely at this object. I'm going to just move into the apparent picture as well to get a closer shot. I mean, wow, folks, this is a very strange apparition or something. I mean, how big is this object? Indeed, it looks like that this area view sight of this part has opened. It looks indeed like it's been opened. I mean, what kind of technology are we seeing here? Heading back to the telescope, we also notice that that opening is closed, or has it? Look at this area where we saw the opening to this side, and now it seems to be that it's been closed. I mean, are we noticing something very strange out there in space? Or are we just seeing an apparition on the lens, or something again of a craft, a known craft in space, a satellite? When viewing this space intruder or this space body or something again that's interstellar, I mean, you can see the characteristics. It doesn't look like a planet. It doesn't look like some kind of satellite. But indeed, videoing far out there deep in space, it's got to be something huge, massive. I mean, look how it glows as well. Or is it picking up the light refraction from the sun? Using the energy source from the sun, draining the energy off the sun. I mean, who is running these things, folks? Because we talk about the Anunnaki. Now folks, I know this particular picture is smudged out, but it was something of an apparition of the object. Again, it seems to be rotating or some kind of movement, but look how it's lit up, and also it looks indeed like it is morphing in and out. The entity. I mean, notice how this smog or something, again, this mist that appears, and how it lights up and looks like it's being camouflaged. I mean, this area is much more darker, but it's still showing the same shape and formation, but it seems to be indeed moving across and rotating and changing. The apparent space dust is still visible on the photographs. Is it indeed drawing the energy off this space dust where we saw those two cubes at the beginning of the video? And the object again is moving. It seems to be moving. Just a lot of evidence of something metallic or something huge in space. This is a very interesting capture because once we saw as it was moving in and out of its strange shapes, it came back into shape where we were being able to pick up stars and also being able to pick up this anomaly formation. I mean, there is something again of a darker part of the object to this side of the photograph where we saw that smoke apparition. But indeed, look at the shape again, these very strange shapes and this marking here. I mean, they are definitely strange and also very straight lines that appear. This doesn't look like an asteroid at all, folks, or a meteorite or something like a comet. This looks indeed something metallic or something of strange metals that is being produced as well to build this starship or something. Okay, now just moments later we was able to still pick up the object. Now, like I stated as well, it's moving, it's rotating through space very slowly. I mean, is it scanning the Earth? Is it scanning the solar system? You can see the apparent shape and formation is the same object with that strange apparition behind it. And the smaller orb, I'll be noticing one of those cubes. Now again, we speak of the Anunnaki and the Sumerians. Did these starships come down thousands upon thousands of years ago, giving us the civilization of humanity, the education that they sort of designed and built, again, using humans as slaves many thousands of years ago? Are these starships, have they been there for thousands of years? Thousands of years, much longer than us. Think about it. This is incredible. These pictures are real, and indeed they are for the public, for the people to see. Many people have sent me messages as well, and I've taken a few of these photographs out this morning, and I've had messages come back to me as well through emails explaining, Matt, these could be the Palladians, starships from the Pallades star system. Now, again, there's many other people that are noticing pictures like this. They are sending pictures out now showing space objects just like what we're seeing on the screen here. And indeed, the more and more I see these pictures, the more I am convinced that these are indeed huge starships, interstellar, parked up to the reaches of our solar system, visiting other known planets in our solar system. Could they now eventually start to visit Earth? Let me just zoom in to show you. Just an incredible capture of a large space object. This is not space debris because the photograph has been taken, again, a long way, folks, further on than the Sun, further on than Uranus, Neptune. And then just moments later, just like the first photographs, it becomes this strange shape again, this apparition, that indeed, that when we were pointing to view asteroids, you would think this was an asteroid. It's changing its shape, folks. The entity is changing. Can they do this with their technology to change the apparition of a huge starship to look like an asteroid? These captures are absolutely unbelievable, folks, because it takes me back as well to November 2016. It was around about midnight, and I looked at a kind of particular star, and it was moving a different way from the star system as it was moving through the night. As the Earth is rotating, we see the star systems. But again, this object was moving the other way, meaning again, when zooming into it and capturing it, I was absolutely blown away by seeing that this object, way back then, was actually moving it was changing shape, folks. It was showing up and changing shape, creating its own shape and mannerisms. Again, when you look at the object, we notice that something from this area, from the back end of the object of interest that was viewing on the screen, this object seemed to have moved out of it and just moving through space. I mean, are we noticing a mother ship here? A mother ship of these other space objects that we're seeing above the Earth's atmosphere, glowing balls of light, orbs, or something again. Because again, the incredible capture was taken not so long ago, last night. I mean, it does indeed look like a starship. And indeed, there is something that's moving. You can see some kind of development as it's moving away of this object. I mean, what could they be, folks? Where have they come from? And why on earth are they here? I managed to capture as well the glimpse of this object. And we notice as it was parked up on the outer reaches of our solar system, there was two light refractions lit up towards this side of the object. And we know now that the object has rotated, because this is what it's doing. It's just spinning very slowly through space. But indeed as well, to this angle of the object, whilst capturing it in real time last night, you notice what we saw in the other photograph of the object, of the strange orb moving out of it. We can see two light apparitions of these strange squares, again, these cubes. These glowing cubes, are they part of the huge starship? I mean, what are these cubes that we saw? I mean, we saw them as well moving outwards towards the back side of this formation. But now they seem to be very close to the back end of this starship. And then we start to see the characteristics of the same similar angle that we saw and spotted it on the other photograph. I mean, again, it's spinning through space. But these cubes and orbs, or whatever they are, the characteristics of these other pieces of evidence are to this side. But look how it's grown in size. Again, it looks as if it's part of the space station or something. See, when we look at it through the human eye, will it look different towards what those up in space, of those that have designed this huge interstellar starship, would it look different? Because our eyes work differently here on Earth towards what we see pictures and other phenomena out there in space. And then for a whole 1 hour, folks, it become like this. It didn't move. It just showed itself like this for an hour. 1 hour. The shape and formation. See, when you look upon the stars like I've explained in different videos, it will look like a star, just a dimly lit star in the night sky. Again, it's just there. See, when we saw those orbs as well, it started to become affected, or it started to move around, show itself by rotating and changing shape. But now it's just there in space for 1 whole hour, folks, like that. Just amazing captures. I mean, again, from the very start photograph of seeing those cubes that start to show the apparitions of these other objects, and then indeed seeing this formation change to a very, very interesting picture that looks interstellar like a starship, folks. Seeing noticeable as well that we see the smaller body as well moving across. I mean, when we see the opening of this object, these objects, very similar, come out of this huge formation. Now, we came across some asteroid footage as well. Pointing the camera now towards the horizon. Straight across the horizon, we saw some activity. And indeed, we see stars towards the horizon. We see the moon that's moving up towards the horizon, approaching towards the night sky, sunsets and sunrises. But also you see the apparent objects and formations as well, big meteorites, asteroids moving up and also moving downwards. Now this particular night sky image zoomed in, I mean we're talking about 85% zoomed in, folks, of this incredible capture. Please look at it. At first we thought it was a cloud or some kind of phenomena. The object, you can see again the characteristics. It was, again, blew us away that it was on the horizon, the picture, the video evidence of the object moving upwards, folks. Again, viewing across the horizons, you catch lots of different things. So indeed, this looks indeed like a huge asteroid moving across space, where you can see other tumbling space debris as the Earth is rotating. That is one huge space rock, folks, that you saw on the screen there. I'm just going to bring back the evidence as well so you can see what we noticed and captured. I mean, look at the incredible shape and formation and size of this space intruder. It was my daughter that caught it on the camera. We pointed the camera and the telescope with the computer straight towards the horizon, the clearest spot. And then my daughter turned around and said, "Look, Dad, there's something going on towards the horizon at that particular viewpoint," and picked up an object. I thought it was a star. But then when capturing this particular piece of evidence of this object rising through space, I mean, you can see the characteristics of the space rock. There's a smaller body as well, and it's carrying some kind of space dust just behind it. Let me just play this for you again. There is a clear shot of an asteroid. Zoomed in, folks. It's always best, again, like we were in Lincolnshire last night, and we were at very high point, so we was able to capture a lot of things as well across the horizons. And indeed, like 250 feet to 300 feet above sea level, it is a very, very incredible capture to see in this. Let me just go back and show you one more time as we play the evidence. I'm just going to go back a little bit more to show you. That is moving through space, folks, very close to the Earth. A space object, a space body, folks. Think about it, the size of this capture. Let me just go and show you this. I mean, how big is this space intruder? How big is this object? And as it's moving through space, look at the space debris and trash behind it. Space dust, asteroids, trash. I mean, the video speaks volumes by itself, doesn't it, folks? Just something else to say as well, that my daughter explained. Look at the red iron oxide, or some kind of red colour, that is showing again on the space object. It was a dark night. It could be the apparition from the sun across a horizon, because we see the moon as well on the horizon that's lit up like a red colour, blood red, or other strange colours of a darker red or a lighter red. But indeed that is kind of, looks like iron oxide that is spread out in our solar system. But the credible picture as well, the video evidence shows the space debris as it's being dragged through our solar system. I mean, you can see to this end as well, just a lower part of the space debris moving with this space object. I'm just going to, just one more time show you this, because this is a very credible piece of evidence for our community to see. Notice the space debris, folks. Okay, that's a fantastic capture. I'm going to keep that piece of evidence, and anybody wants the real piece of video footage, I will send, and also send out an email address I'm going to set up for the channel as well, and I'll send that to you folks, because again, it's so important to see these formations. And if anybody wants this piece of evidence, I will send it to them so they can analyze it, because it's very, very important. Now again, my daughter Iris, she knows, I'll say some truth now here as well, folks, that she knows more about the technology with a telescope and also computers, mobile phones, etc., than I do. I mean, I'm very knowledgeable about some certain things with the technology, but again, she does it so fast and it's so incredible. And again, taking captures, a true astronomer. And again, our community, we need to see these pieces of evidence. This is another clip that was taken by my daughter as well, by pointing the telescope towards the night skies. Now, we speeded the footage up, folks, okay? And you'll notice this large tumbling asteroid. Now, we've picked up pictures, we've sent them through different platforms like Facebook and other platforms as well. And also, incredibly, we show it onto YouTube as well, so we can all see our community. We've got a community, again, a very good, healthy community here in Great Britain and also the United States and all across the world, folks. People need to come back and see. Because what we're noticing here is asteroids tumbling through space, pointing east. Now, we're talking around about 10:30 in the evening. So let me just play the evidence for you and you'll see this space object moving through space. Now, the reason why it's stopping and starting is because the camera and the telescope does this to capture pictures. But look at this intruder. Look at this large space rock moving through space. I know the video footage is quite blurred, but folks, this is a long way away to capture these pieces of evidence, this footage. Let me just play the video for you one more time. Let me just go back to the area where she took the footage to show you. Let me just notice that's tumbling through space, folks. I mean, what size are we seeing of this object? You can see the characteristics of it as well in smaller objects. Now, again, near-Earth hazardous objects. This is what the agencies, the space agencies, call them. And indeed, folks, these objects are moving through space very close to the known heavenly bodies in our solar system, meaning Earth, folks. These objects are whapping past Earth, moving past Earth. If one of them got through the keyhole, something big could easily happen. Look at the size of this object, folks. A huge asteroid moving through space. So indeed, thank you for watching this broadcast. I will come back to you with another video to show you the captures. Now, I did a video about Carlos Munoz Ferrada, the Chilean astronomer. I speak of these different, very intelligent people that spoke about Planet X, Nibiru. So, when I'm sending them small broadcasts out to you, like short documentary talkings, it's only because we're out at night taking pictures of the night sky for all you folk as well that need to see these objects and formations. Now, like the beginning of the video as well, when we saw those huge interstellar starships moving and synchronizing or changing shape, it is absolutely outstanding when you see these objects in real time, folks. Thank you for watching. From Matt Rogers.